Book of Genesis, chapter 31. There are 55 verses in this chapter. In these 55 verses, I'm telling you the main story. Listen. Jacob worked for Laban for second time for 20 years. Then how much? Jacob was, he is 20 years old, is another 20 years old outside of the house, 40 years total. Isaac and Rebekah went to Padan Aram as per order. How much are the profits of his maternal uncle to obtain daughter for marriage? In accordance with the command of her parents, he served for first 7 years. He worked for 7 years for Rachel, but he was deceived and received Leah as his wife. And he served for Rachel for another 7 years and obtained her as a wife. In 40 years, Leah, Rachel, and Bilhah and Zilpah received 11 sons. Jacob received a daughter. When Joseph was born, Jacob was 91 years old. When Padan Aram, when he left, he was 70 years old. First 7 years for his wife after doing a job. 14 years if you deduct 7 years from 21. In these 14 years he has received happiness between Joseph and Benjamin. There was another 20 years gap. The 30th chapter tells us about the history of these 40 years. Jacob worked taking a new contract for his uncle. When he did that work, God blessed Jacob exceedingly. The flocks of profit are diminished flocks for Laban, weak flocks. Jacob flocks are strong flocks. According to the method God gave him, the speckled and spotted sheep and spots and goats that have a length, Jacob owned all the lambs. Those that are not, those that not, they belong to the sons of Laban. Laban had put Jacob 3 days journey away, and he had put almost a 50 miles distance between him and Laban, which means a 3-day distance. So much time has passed. Every time God blesses Jacob, Laban comes and changes his wages. How many alternatives did the life change for profit? God blessed Jacob in all alternative ways. So Jacob has come to the decision that he should go to his father's house. That's because Laban's sons began to launch critical weapons against Jacob. The 31st chapter begins with this. Jacob's sons criticized that all the property he had earned belonged to his father. And this reaches Jacob's ears. He called his wives and described to them his 20 years of hard-earned wealth and told them, I want to go to my father's house. God took your, father's animals, saw my suffering, and gave them to me. My God appeared to me, so that God of Bethel visited me. He's asking me to go, right? So he's saying that I have to go according to that work. For me, they also agreed to that. Jacob is very smart. Go home and talk. He brought them to the fields and spoke. They also expressed their dissatisfaction with their father. Even we are cheated by our father. Even what belongs to us, he took it. That feeling also surged in them. Then Rachel and Leah both stood by their husband. They stood comfortably. Jacob took everything he had, and went toward Mount Gilead. It was proved that Jacob ran away. Because they traveled for 6 days. Jacob did not get any profit. Jacob took all that he had and went to the other side of Gilead, the hill. In this way, after meeting Jacob with him, there is a need to speak extensively. What did God do? When Jacob meets Laban again in the morning, God appeared to Laban in a vision and said, "Be careful not to speak good or bad to my servant Jacob. Do nothing to him," saying that he issued a warning. Laban was afraid of that. When he met Jacob on the hill of Gilead, "Why are you running away with my children and my daughter and my grandchildren? Why are you running away? Why are you living secretly? Did you cheat me? I was supposed to send them with a good, respect." He says that then Laban is putting a blame on Jacob. "You are leaving, you are going away. Are you taking my house deities, my idols?" He asked. He objected. Immediately Jacob objected. Jacob said, "I have not stolen your household gods. Whoever is found in my house, he should die." He said that a person like that is required for the death. He searched for all the places of the house, searched the whole house, and they did not find it. But Rachel stole that thing, and she's the one who brought it. Those household idol is, the idol would be golden idol. And Rachel stole that idol and put it in the box belonging all the necessary things, and set on that box. And the father searched everywhere. He could not. He said to his father, "I cannot stand up before you. When I said I was afraid, I could not stand up." After searching all that labor and not finding it, he kissed his children and left. With that going, this 31st chapter ends. We'll continue to discuss more details as we discuss each verse. Let's start the 31st chapter and read from first verse. Verse 1. Now Jacob heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what was our father's he has acquired all this wealth. Here is a review. It appears to us in Jacob's life, people's opinions sometimes hurt us. It caused pain. Jacob, 20 years, he struggled a lot. God helped him. God taught, and God was with him the ways he had to choose. Jacob followed them. Due to that reason, he became very wealthy. He won't feelings are subtle. His wife's brothers made a criticism. Jacob earned everything. Our father earned from it. They said that when we actually think about it, it is only what Jacob got because of the agreement between Jacob and Laban, but not what Jacob stole without Laban knowing. Jacob earned that great wealth only by his righteous conduct, but he had to be blamed. Blame is for any man. It causes irritation. This is why Jacob is suffering. Second verse, the Bible says, and Jacob saw the countenance of Laban, and indeed it was not favorable towards him as before. Both are relatives, uncle and nephew, and additionally the son-in-law too. So why does such a difference appears between the two of them? The reason for that mistake is profit. Laban invited Jacob as his associate only for his own profit. He has how many years? 20 years he was with him. Laban's flocks only experienced a profit. Jacob served Laban without taking any salary for the sake of his wife and children, without taking any salary as a property. Laban was smiling a lot all the time. Second term 20 years, only after starting to work with the team. Laban's face withered. The reason is that Jacob's flocks were born as a stronger flocks than his flocks. While Jacob was developing with the help of God, Laban could not bear it. Today, many people grieve while some of their relatives are growing. Some people change their face. They change their face. This is not only common then, but also now. When Jacob faced such a situation, Jacob came to a decision. Then the Lord returned to the land of your father, to your relatives. They told Jacob, I would be with you. Jacob sends Rachel and Leah to the field to their flocks and talked to them. Situations have become different. Relative faces are, suddenly withered towards him. Therefore, Jacob is in sorrow, in pain. What is he experiencing? God visited him and told him to go to your relative's house. When God spoke to Jacob, Jacob called for his wives to know their consent, because Jacob came alone to Padan Aram. But now he has become a man with extensive flocks. He has become a man with a family. Now it is not just his will. The rest have to come out too. They don't come out without their will, do they? That's why, to consult with them, without going to her house, he called the two wives who were at home to the farm. To maintain the secrecy, secretly to talk to his wife, he called them to the fields and started discussing with them. My father's grace seems to have been on me yesterday and the day before, but not now. But the God of my father is with me. God is telling, he is telling that both his wives, your father's grace. The countenance of Laban, and indeed it was not favorable towards him as before. He said that it is clear to me that your father's, grace towards me is not there like it was in the initial days of the past 20 years or so. We also understand anyone who is in our favor is understood, even if they are different. We understand. Okay? So, he also understood to Jacob. Laban, who changed his face, was understood to him. That's what Jacob told his wives in this matter. But he is telling them the matter that God is with me, the Father's God is with me. Tell me what a great grace it is. What a great blessing it is. God is with me. My God of my father is with me. Laban, who is of some blood as a regionalist of a Syrian, is hiding his face, but God is paying attention to him and is with him. God is with him. One fundamental truth we must learn, even if our neighbors abandon us, even our parents, our relatives forget us or leave us, we understand from Jacob that we have a God who does not forsake us or never leave us. I have served your father with all my might. You know that. He says that, do you know whom God blesses? He blesses those who work with all their might. We must work with the complete might and power. Jesus Christ, the Lord, what is he teaching those who believe in him? He said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your strength, with all your mind, with all your power, with all your soul, with all your strength. You must love God. Similarly, Jacob served Laban with all his might. He did it without a fault in his work. He worked hard. This matter is known to both wives, how hard he worked for his trade. They know your father cheated me and changed my salary 10 times. But God did not let him harm me. Why is Jacob talking about God with his wives? Do you know why? That is, God is telling me to go from this place to my father's house, to my relative's house. He is telling them the peculiarities about God, so that they can understand that God has not forsaken me. He's talking about you, your father. He cheated me and changed my salary 10 times. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Jacob deceived his brother, he deceived his father. Now Jacob is being deceived 10 times. In our 40 years of life, Jacob is often deceived. We put the consequences, we receive consequences what we sow forth. He's reaping what he has sown. Jacob's whole life was filled with the blame and deception. Deception. In the 8th verse, he says, if he said thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore speckled. And if he said thus, the streaked shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore streaked. God was with him. Whatever he says, according to that, God blessed him. That's why he changed the salary 10 times, because God is behind Jacob. God was behind Jacob. Laban did not know that. When you say your life is full of flaws, paths have come, your life is with the paths, so the paths are born, that in that way, everything, when we are all doing that, everything belonged to Jacob was born. If even one of the young in the flock does not come in the favor of a businessman, what is his profit? But he could not speak because it was a salary agreement he had made. He can't cross that. That's why he would change again and again. Whenever he changed again, God was favorable to him. He would make the children bear, children in Jacob's favor. Exceedingly there was a growth. So God is in verse 9, so God has taken away the livestock of your father and given them to me. Remember, if any of you physically, financially desire to receive the most blessing, God gives it when you do it with the might, when God's favor is upon you. In Jacob's life, when Jacob prospered, Laban turned his face away from him. He was ashamed. Then God removed all the prophets from the flocks and gave them to the Jacob. When Laban saw that all the flocks had been entrusted to Jacob, he could not bear it. In verse 11, then the angel of God spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, here I am. And he said, lift your eyes now and see. All the rams which leap on the flocks are streaked, speckled, and gray spotted. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. Have you seen that? God is watching everything what he is talking. Today, let's learn a lesson from here. Even if many people are planning against us, we should not be afraid. We should not be worried, because the scripture says that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. We must recognize the fact that God is watching those who are thinking against us, doing against us. When we learn that our God is in our side and fights our enemies, we can be joyful. I have seen everything your uncle Laban has done to you. Don't forget. Don't go into the illusion that God might leave something. He saw everything. That's why he surpassed Laban and exalted Jacob. I am the God of Bethel, where you poured oil on the pillar, where you worshipped me. Do you know who I am? I am the God of Bethel, who spoke to you there when you came from Padan Aram that night. Look, How great a thing! He said that day, I will be with you. I will come to the place you go. I will bring you back from there. He said that day. Now he is speaking again. Now get up and go from which country you were born and go back to your country, he told him. Jacob is talking to his two wives. Then God who saved me from your father, God who put all your father's animals in my control, and the God who gave me the strong flocks appeared in a vision and taught me how to treat the sheep. Now Bethel's God is talking to me, telling me to go to my father's house, is what he is feeling. Now he is telling, what do you want me to do? He is asking. He asked, you say, what do you want to do? He is asking. Then Rachel and Leah both spoke the same word. They answered and said to him, is there still any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Laban is so wicked, think about it. He has also made both daughters, without inheritance. Are we not considered strangers by him? For he has sold us and also completely consumed our money. For all these riches which God has taken from our father are really ours and our children's. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do it. What they say, they meant to say, my father is not important to us now. You do what your God told you. They agreed that everything you said was correct. Both of them, they agreed that what you said was correct. Jacob rose and set his sons and his wives on camels, and he carried away all his livestock and all his possessions which he had gained, his acquired livestock which he had gained in Padan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. Now Laban had gone to share his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the household idols that were her father's. And Jacob stole away unknown to Laban the Syrian, in that he did not tell him that he intended to flee. So he fled, he fled with all that he had. He arose and crossed a river and headed towards the mountain of Gilead. The family has reached an agreement. They came to the thought of obeying God's word and left Padan Aram and started their journey back to land of Canaan. God is so great. He is fulfilling what he promised to Jacob. Isn't he? He is fulfilling it. Isn't he? Jacob is taking everything and leaving. God took everything that he had given, and Jacob was going to mountains of Gilead. And Laban was told on the third day that Jacob had fled. Then he took his brethren with him and pursued him for 7 days' journey, and he overtook him in the mountains of Gilead. After reaching Mount Gilead, Laban said something. What was it? In a dream at night, God came to Laban the Syrian and said, you shall not speak to Jacob either good or evil. Be careful. He said to him, how perfect is God. Laban meets Jacob on Mount Gilead. On the 7th day, he will show his strength now. He will take out his anger. He will show his anger. Jacob, he tries to make a fall. He tries to scare. God already knows all this. That's why the night before, how will he meet Jacob on the mountain in the morning? Meaning that night before, he went to the vision and warned Laban. God makes the enemies tremble just as he made the Egyptians, who were the enemies of the Israelites in the book of Exodus, tremble with the fear. So also God made Laban tremble because of Jacob. God who made my enemies tremble because of me. You have the God who makes your enemies tremble because of you. How blessed are you? Just look at verse 25. So Laban overtook Jacob, and Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountains, and Laban with his brethren pitched his tent on mountain of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, what have you done, that you have stolen away unknown to me, and carried away my daughters like captives taken with a sword? Why did you flee away secretly? The first question he asked, you carried away my daughters like a captives taken with a sword. The second question he is asking, why did you flee away secretly and steal away from me and not tell me? For I might have sent you away with the joy and songs, with the timbrel and harp, and you did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Really? Likewise will Laban will send. Is Laban that good? If he is that good, why did God have to appear to Laban and rebuke him? The fear of God has come over the prophets. Jacob God, do you know who is it? Know who it is? Not only Jacob, but Isaac, the God of Isaac. God is also the God of Abraham. And Laban knows this well, because when Eliezer came to her home to ask her sister Rebekah, then the father's blessing about Abraham's relative, he knew. Abraham sent his sister to Isaac as a daughter-in-law to his house. My sister, when Rebekah blessed you that you would become the mother of thousands, Laban knew what Jehovah meant. When he called out, man blessed by Jehovah, coming from outside, Jehovah knew. So Laban isn't a fool to deal with God. He changed the plate. He's talking gently, saying, I used to send you with the blows, right? So because you don't kiss my sons and daughters, you did not allow. You have gone mad and done this. And as he's saying that, you have done foolishly in so doing. So, can I extinguish you? So last night your father's God told me, be careful not to speak to Jacob either good or bad. Look, God spoke to him. He revealed the details. You are very eager to go to your father's house. Why did you steal my gods? Please note, an accusation is being brought against Jacob. The reason is Rachel. Rachel stole her father's household god and brought them. Jacob was surprised. He did not know it. When did I steal your household gods? He was surprised. He said, those with whom these gods are found shall not live. Search for what is with me among your relatives and take what is yours, he told Laban. Rachel did not know that she had stolen them. In verse 33, and Laban went into Jacob's tent, into Leah's tent, and into the two maids' tents, but he did not find them. Then he went out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. And now Rachel had taken the household idols, put them in the camel's saddle, and sat on them. And Laban searched all about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to her father, let not displease my lord, that I cannot rise before you, for the manner of woman is with me. And he searched but did not find the household idols. Verse 36, and Jacob was angry and rebuked Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that you have so hotly pursued me, although you have searched all my things? What part of your household things have you found? Set it here before my brethren and your brethren, that they may judge between us both. These 20 years I have been with you. Yours and your female goats have not miscarried their young, and I have not eaten the rams of your flock, that which was torn by beast. I did not bring to you, I bore the loss of it. You required it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. There I was in the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sheep departed from my eyes. Thus I have been in your house 20 years. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock. And you have changed my wages 10 times, unless the God of my father, the God of my Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me. Surely now you would have sent me away empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked you last night. As Laban asked, where did you find your idols in your house? Look, Rachel, who was a thief of idols, died while giving birth to Benjamin. Jacob's word did not go in vain, it came true. Even they did not imagine. She also did not think that she would face such a situation, because she told these things. Look, between your relatives and my relatives, take what you got and keep it. They will judge us. They are talking to withdraw your accusation against me. If the wild animal come and take away the sheep, you did not like to bear the loss. He says that keep the 2. Whether the theft happens during the day or at night, you have to bear the cost of the theft. He said that Laban collected money so harshly from Jacob. He said, I have been in your house for 20 years. I have been in the house for 20 years. I am 27 years old in the terms of, there. I have served 14 years for your, both daughters, and 6 years for the flocks. What you have done? You have changed my salary 10 times. I have served you so much, but you have changed my wages 10 times. My father's God is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac. Unless they are with me, you would have sent me empty, you would have sent me away empty-handed. God saw my labor, my affliction, and of hardship on my hands. And so that last night he rebuked you. See, Laban, how cruel you are. You cheated me, my wife, my children, my property, and you sent me away empty-handed. You are a cruel person. Look how big a lie he's telling. That's right. Should I have such a mentality? Did you see that I have a God? Knowing your mind, he scolded you last night. My father is a God who fears Isaac. He said he came to scare you. So because of my God, I am safe. But if it were because of you, I would be destroyed. He says in 43rd verse, and Laban answered and said to Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and this flock is my flock. All that you see is mine. But what can I do this day to these my daughters, or to their children whom they have borne? Now therefore come, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it be a witness between you and me. As he's saying, whether it is my daughters or the sons you have seen, what can I do today? I can't do anything, because even if I want to take it, God, he warned that He would know your matter. God warned by saying that be careful. So what what good can the prophet do against God? That's why he said that I can't do anything. Therefore, me and you, let's make a deal. Okay? What is the condition? See, it has to be witness between you and me. He replied to Jacob. Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. Jacob sat on the stones and told his relatives. They all brought stones and piled them up there. They had lunch near the heap. Don't come, he gave it to a name. Laban called it Jagar Sagaduta. But Jacob called it Galet. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between you and me this day. Therefore, its name was called Galeed, also Mizpah, because he said, may the Lord watch between you and me when you are absent one from another. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take other wives besides my daughters, although no man is with us, see, God is witness between you and me. Laban said, we one another when we are far apart from each other, the Lord is witness between you and me. How many of us you have this awareness? How many of you know that God is observing what is happening in our life? What I am doing to others, what others are doing to me. As today Christians are more than many were very beneficial while we are far apart. He said that I have found out what is happening between you and me. So I have named it Mizpah. Then Laban said, if you mistreat my daughters, or if you take any wives beside my daughters, though no one is with us, remember God is witness between you and me. But who is there with us? Don't think God is the witness for you and me. Whether you torture my daughters, persecute them, hurt them, or harass them, you made them lonely or married another woman, and you think no one saw the injustice you did to them, because I am going away from here. Between you and me, this witness is there. I will not come over there. You should not come over there. If you do injustice to my daughters after you leave me, remember God is watching you. Laban is warning Jacob, and behold, this pillar and this heap which I have set between me and you, I will not pass over this heap to do thee hurt, and thou shalt not pass over this heap or pillar to do me hurt. The God of Abraham and God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. I said, then Jacob swore by the God of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and invited his relatives to eat a meal. And they ate a meal and spent the night on the mountain. When it was a morning, Laban got up, kissed his daughters and sons, blessed them, and left for his town. The place called Gilead was indeed established among them. They have agreed to stay without going there or here. In that way, they made agreement, had a meal, and in the morning everyone went their own way. He is kissing his people, leaving and going back. With this chapter 31 ends here.